I did this whole thing where I said, we've got a special version of our podcast for you, theme. So take it away, Will, on the keys. What's that podcast? Is it an award-winning hit? Don't ask her, then, 'cause she'll say, I'm not on it. Kristen.
Yay, that was beautiful.
Welcome to the Haven't Seen a Podcast. This is a podcast where we bring people on the show and we get them really drunk and they tell me about a movie that I've never seen before. I'm Alinka Zach, and Zach was correct.
And I'm Will. Ooh, that is, I can't, this is only a
You
1 second
literally-
gag and it doesn't work. Okay?
You look like Wolverine or something. Like, it doesn't even look like a vampire. How many extra fangs do you have?
Yeah, don't they have 2? Why
They
is
only
there
have 2
4?
fangs. Who
Although,
made that?
no, in this movie, I feel like they have 4.
Bruh, please take them out.
feel
I
like
hate
there's,
how
like,
you
a
sound
subtle-
right now. I hate it.
Yeah. It's not even made for adults.
Let
I think
me
it said
try.
8 plus. They should have said like
Toddler.
12 under. That's what they should have said.
Yeah.
Welcome
That's filthy.
welcome back.
Welcome back to
yeah.
the show,
And-
baby.
As you heard from our podcast theme song, we are not an award-winning podcast.
Nah.
Fortunately, that didn't pan out for us.
No.
But that's okay, because
It is.
guess who we have
Guess
on.
we do have
Guess we-
on
guess
the
who we-
guest.
guess who we
got
have
on the
on
guest show tonight.
tonight. We have we're not bitter losers. We have we do have an award-winning podcast on our show. Winner of not only Best Original Theme Song, but Best Original Music in a Podcast at the Canadian Podcast Awards.
Yeah.
We have the writer, producer, narrator, composer, I think 1,000 other titles on your podcast. Kristen Zaza of the Dark Cold Night Podcast.
Hi.
Yes.
Thank you so
Welcome.
much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
back.
Yeah, I'm excited. I loved the song.
Oh, thank you.
It's wonderful.
Means a lot.
It should. It should mean a lot.
Well, obviously, I'm wearing some vampy teeth here, but
Yeah.
we're not talking Twilight. What are we talking about, Kristen?
We're going to be talking about Interview with the Vampire.
Oh.
And I brought my book with me, my books. But we're talking about the film.
Yeah.
Is that one of those ones where like some of the gold ones, if you push the pages kind of slightly, they'll make a pic?
Oh, that'd be
I don't
sick.
think so.
No. That's
Way to
okay.
go, Zach.
I've been
So
waiting
relevant.
since I've learned that.
I
I've been
don't
waiting
think-
to see one of those gold
I don't
books.
think they exist.
No,
I'm pretty sure
they
they
don't
don't
exist.
exist. Mm-mm.
Yeah, we're talking about Interview with the
A
Vampire.
vampire,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why did you choose this? Because I had a list of horror movies for to
Yes.
choose.
as you know.
And in my mind, when I sent you the list, I was like, I hope she chooses Interview with the Vampire because I
Interesting.
love that movie. So why did you choose it?
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I love it. I love the books. I think I saw the movie when I was like 12 or something, like far too early, and I rented it on VHS. Like that's
Wow.
how I was
Primo.
introduced to it. And yeah, I became pretty obsessed. I love it. And I think on the list, there were some great horror movies. Like I love well, let's just say the other ones were maybe a little more gory and a little more gruesome and horrific. And
Right.
I like elegant, creepy things, melancholy things. So this is right up my alley.
Oh
yeah.
my god, I'm so excited.
I know. It's a great movie. Brad Pitt,
Well,
Tom Cruise.
Antonio
let
Banderas?
me- Okay,
Yeah,
guys.
tell
Christian
us about it.
Slater?
Yeah.
I knew about Antonio Banderas and Brad Pitt, but not what's his nuts?
Tom Cruise.
Tom
Cruise?
Cruise. Meh, whatever. Take it or
He's
leave it.
the
He's the
he's
guy.
a star in this.
Really?
Like,
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm not by any means like the biggest Tom Cruise fan in the world or anything, but
Oh.
this movie maybe makes me actually
Really?
the biggest Tom Cruise.
Wow.
No, not,
Take it away,
not
Zach.
actually.
She likes Tom Cruise. It doesn't matter if he's drinking booze, cause he's Tom Cruise. He's got a lot of hair and lots of teeth.
Zach hasn't seen the movie. Either.
No, I haven't seen this
He hasn't
movie
seen
either.
this movie either. Yeah.
He does
But
have a lot of teeth.
I know
in
who
this
Tom
movie.
Cruise is.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, yeah.
I've
He
got
does
that.
have
Great,
large
for me.
great job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Idiot.
Well, what do you know about this movie, Alenka?
This one, I've been told by my brother to see this movie like many, many, many times. And you're like, yes, you needed to. You should have already, idiot. I don't know though. I don't know. I'm just gonna assume by the title that like some lady is going around. She's a reporter and she like goes to this old Victorian house. Turns out there's a bunch of these sexy vampires that just stay there and they're just like, we have nice things and nice skin and luscious hair. And she's like, wow, this is so interesting. I was just going to like take a look through the house and like report on it being here because it's like a super old house. And they're like, yeah, listen to our like Espanol vampire. And he'll be like, "Rrrr." And then she basically is like, okay, I'm sold on this. Vampires are the bomb. Tell me your stories. And then they tell her like how they inherited the house, how long they've lived there, and like all the little vampy things that they do.
All the little vampy
All
things.
the little vampy things that they do just for fun. And she's like, cool. Like, can I share the story? And they're like, oh, no, bitch. And then they like try to like kill her because they're like, no, our secret can't be told.
Interesting.
You get it.
Yeah,
So-
there is a fly in here, Zach.
It was
That's
just
okay.
Going, it was just going in your drink.
Live
Zach has
recording, everyone.
Like I
Anything
can't.
can
I
happen.
just
Yeah.
I didn't want it to go in your drink.
That doesn't sound. I mean,
Too far
it's
off.
for the most. It is in many ways, but in some ways,
Yeah.
it's kind
I
of.
think it sounds like
the
you kind
ending
of
is kinda
adapted
right.
Twilight a little bit.
Did it though?
No, I'm saying you kind
no,
of adapted
I
Twilight.
don't think I did.
Okay.
No,
Because Twilight's different.
That
It's
is
very
true.
different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess so.
They're
Yeah.
out in the open.
I think I just heard sexy vampire, even though they are sexy.
It's Brad
vampires.
Pitt.
They're very
I've
sexy.
I've seen Brad Pitt in this movie. He's
Okay.
like a cute little boy,
Mhm.
which sounds weird now that I've said it. But like Brad, I don't want to justify this anymore.
You mean he's a young virile man?
But also, he looks so feminine,
prime.
which I'm just digging myself into a bigger hole here because he just looks so cute, right?
yeah,
oh,
of
he's
course.
beautiful.
He's like a
beautiful.
cute
His
little
glossy
baby
hair.
boy.
Sheen, yeah.
I
Green.
hate
The
that guy.
contact lenses were a big thing. They were like specially designed for this.
Oh.
So
Oh,
the
yeah.
green eyes and
Cool.
the makeup was it's very it's all
Christine.
good.
So good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that, you guys. If you haven't seen this movie, check out BP.
Did it
And I
win an
guess
Academy
TC?
Award for?
Probably.
I think
Maybe.
for makeup, maybe.
That's what I thought. Yeah,
I'm not sure. I
That's
have
fun.
something
to.
like that.
I'd have to look into it, but I'm pretty sure they
Cross-check
did because they did this thing. Fun fact about it: to get the veins to look the way they did.
What?
The actors were like suspended upside down
Come on.
so that their blood would flow
Oh,
like to their heads,
shit.
and then they'd trace their actual veins to get the look.
What?
Oh my god.
Get the look.
Get the look. Get,
Get
the
that look.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if you guys want to look venular, vascular, viscous, what?
Vascular.
Vascular? If you want to look dehydrated, then just hang yourself upside down and trace the veins.
Exactly.
That's all.
How you liking the drink, Kristen?
It's delicious.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Well, the drink tonight, I call
Mine's
it
juice.
I call it Dead Blood because
Oh.
well,
I don't get it.
We're
it's a
gonna get
reference in the
there.
movie. Yeah, we're gonna get there. It is red wine, rum.
Mm.
I felt like I think I chose rum because like I don't know, the New Orleans vibes, and I feel like rum is a good kind of New Orleans drink.
Sure.
I guess so. Yeah.
I don't know.
Also, I'm limited in alcohol I can choose, so that's what I wanted to do.
Sure.
Some lime juice and some syrup. I
yummy.
put some maple syrup in it, but simple syrup, whatever. You kind of sweeten it up a little bit.
Do we
and then
like
make
it?
Interesting.
Yeah,
Do you
I don't
guys
mind it.
like it?
Would you like a top up?
You
Oh,
love that.
sure. Let's just do it now.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, here we go.
Oh no.
That's
Oh,
what that
no.
was.
Oh,
I don't get it,
Yeah.
and I'm
You
disgusted.
cleaned that.
here,
know.
Louis. You can pretend it's wine.
This was straight
I cleaned
from
it.
the
I
dollar
cleaned
store.
it. Don't
Oh,
Don't worry.
you're getting it everywhere.
This is amazing. I
There you go.
considered dressing up like a rat. I was
Oh.
looking at my costume options.
Are they vampires that also are rats? Is that the thing? Like instead of turning into bats, they turn into rats?
Don't worry, Linka. I
Come
got some
on.
for you too.
Hit me up, brother.
Yeah, I've got.
Don't get
I've
it
got-
on the equipment.
No, I won't.
Well, you
Here we
did
go.
already. Oh,
Yeah.
mine's a
Oh, there you go. Oh, yeah.
I was wondering why you were so
Rat
excited
juice,
to give me a
baby.
top up when I'd only had one sip. I'm like, something's up. I better say yes.
That's my gag for the night.
None for you.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
There's no more.
Is
That's it. No,
My partner Sam just
No way.
commented. She said she made sure I deeply clean these.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam.
Thank you very
did.
much. I
soaked
appreciate
them.
that.
I soak them in soap and water
Soak
overnight.
Those dollar
and
store
ice.
rats.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'll just be the plastic that kills
not
us.
dollar store rats, spirit Halloween
I'm so
rats.
sorry.
It'll
Actually,
still be the plastic that kills us.
It's not bad. It just tastes like wine with a bit of maple.
Yeah, wine and rum, spiced rum.
Sensual.
Yeah,
like
so
this
that's our
one's
drink for tonight, Dead Blood. We'll get there.
Yes.
But and we're sure are getting there. Kristen,
Oh my god, I'm pumped.
let's get started. How does this movie begin?
Okay, so we have the score by Elliot Goldenthal rolling in with some children, some child high voice. And it's like my favorite openings ever as we fly in over the city of
No, San Francisco.
Yeah, that's
San
right. I couldn't
Francisco.
remember if it
Yeah.
was where we start the story
Yeah.
in San Francisco.
Modern day for the 90s, or
Mhm.
late 80s. When's
So
it?
many 90s.
80,
It was 94.
94.
So wait,
yeah.
it is modern day.
Yes.
Okay.
Modern day 94.
Because a reporter sees them. She's like, wow.
First of all, the reporter
Is
is
accurate?
Christian Slater.
Stop!
Yeah, from Heathers, which we've covered.
Oh,
Mm.
fuck yeah. So it's
and-
an interview.
Yeah, and we go through the city of San Francisco following some human crowds
Like
as
a
though
bat.
we are a
Okay,
vampire, like a
cute.
bat turning into it.
Or
They don't
rat.
turn into bats
No,
in
this
Anne
is-
Rice's universe.
no.
That's not what we're not
Yes.
getting involved with. That
Okay.
we're gonna just put
No
that to
bat.
bed right now.
Fuck that shit.
They're just vampires. And then we end on Brad Pitt as Louis Dupont du Lac.
That's his fucking
Dupont
name,
du Lac.
Louis.
Louis.
Mhm.
Louis.
Way.
Okay.
Louis.
And he's
Thought it was
staring out of a
something cool.
window, and we see his veiny face.
And his beautiful pulled back ponytail.
Amazing.
Very 90s, late 80s look. Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
got a full head of hair.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And Christian Slater's setting up his. I literally did not rewatch this for this because it was a bit of a busy weekend. But like I was talking to my fiance who was like, "You can do the whole movie by heart."
Oh,
and I'm like,
nice.
I
You're like,
and then I
yeah.
started to.
I know.
And Christian Slater's setting up a tape recorder, super 90s, talking about, why don't we get started? And you don't mind if I smoke, do you? 'Cause, you're
She's
a vampire,
already
whatever
in the
you believe
room.
you're a vampire.
Okay.
And he's
Oh,
skeptical.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so
Okay,
he's
yeah,
skeptical
yeah.
of the whole
Ah.
thing. He thinks he's interviewing someone who believes he is a vampire
Got you.
Mhm, yeah.
Interesting.
and is just getting his perspective.
And
Cool.
essentially just like, all right, hit and record and like start from the beginning.
See what we get from this.
And he's just like, well, I'll take you back to 18. Is it? No, it's like 15.
I think it's 1700s.
1700s.
Mid-1700s?
Yeah. New Orleans and the French Quarter.
Mhm.
That's where the story begins. He is, now that I rewatched it, he owns a plantation, i.e. he owns slaves.
Uh-huh.
So that's
It's
not a good start
problematic
for
and-
Brad Pitt.
Right.
For
Yeah.
Louis. But he owns a
Louis.
plantation in New Orleans.
New Orleans.
And his wife and child, well, his wife died in childbirth, and he is just super
He's
depressed.
a mess about
Yeah.
it.
Right. I'd be pretty upset.
Drinking the night.
Kid is alive?
No, died in
Oh,
He's
no.
childbirth.
all
It's all
alone
dead.
in his
Yikes.
mansion.
Mhm.
Like,
Sad boy.
yeah.
Sad BP.
He's drinking at a bar, gambling, and getting into fights deliberately, and hanging out with the wrong people. And he's about to get robbed when
When some super fast guy, Tom Cruise, kills all these
regular
dudes.
man.
But the whole thing is Brad Pitt is like has a death wish, so he's like I don't care if these robbers kill me.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
And Tom Cruise has been watching him this whole time, and then fucking takes out these robbers, and then like takes Brad Pitt, and like
Flies him to the top of a ship,
yeah,
like right on the mast.
Just right away.
yeah. So they can
They
fly.
fly,
They can
yeah.
fly just freely.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Tom
Yeah.
Cruise can.
Tom Cruise can. Yeah,
Brad Pitt can't figure out how.
yeah. Brad Pitt doesn't show too many powers throughout most of the movie, but we'll talk about it. We'll get there. Oh,
Okay.
that's kind of the setup is that before they even start recording, Brad Pitt moves super quickly throughout the room and like
Oh, yeah, he can
behind
do
Christian
that, yeah.
Slater. So then that makes Christian Slater goes, oh shit, this guy is the real deal. All right, I
Okay.
gotta record this story. So
Already.
Christian Slater's not even
Okay.
skeptical at this point. He's like, okay,
Okay.
this dude,
He's shaken.
yeah, he drank some super serum, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a little cocaine.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know.
Coke, yeah.
Don't you get faster on that stuff?
Not
Is it called
physically.
Is that another street name?
Speed?
I'm a saint. I don't know.
Yeah, I know you are.
What's speed?
That's a different podcast. I guess. I don't know.
I'm just trying to figure it out.
But yeah, so like Tom Cruise throws him up the ship, and then he's like, "You want to die or whatever? Like, is this what you want?"
Is he in an accent?
No,
No,
Cruise-
he's not.
But they
That
all
was a little
was
more
like,
French than
Nacho
Yeah, that was,
Libre.
yeah.
I thought it was
they
Nacho.
don't talk in accents, but they
Sit
talk.
down.
They talk
No.
oldly, I guess. I don't know.
He gives hints of it. He does. I can't stress this enough. Tom Cruise does an impeccable job. Like
Come on.
in the books, he is literally
What?
described as having like, you know, just a very like classic way of speaking, but with a hint, like a pepper of French. And Tom does
Interesting.
it.
Oh yeah.
Okay. He
Gets
does
He
it.
got it. Anyway,
So happy about it.
I love him in this.
Okay.
in this.
Okay.
When he plays bad guys or weirdos or creeps, it's great.
Yes.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
that says something.
So
Yeah.
he kind of super moves through this, like how he becomes a vampire is like he does at this point, he does like almost, well, he like sucks his blood a bit.
He's like,
He's
just a little bit.
He's
A little
not
bit.
feeling
For
good.
you.
No.
Brad Pitt's in his bed, like,
Yeah.
like he's all like,
And
yeah.
then he's like, and Tom Cruise was like, meet me in the swamp.
no, he doesn't.
Well, they're like, they meet in the
Oh,
swamp.
wait, yes, he does.
Yeah,
Yes,
they
he
meet in
does.
the
I see.
swamp.
We're in the bedroom now. Yeah.
And, like,
meet me in
yeah.
the swamp.
Meet me in the swamp.
That's right. I'm sorry.
He's Shrek.
And it's like,
Meet me in my swamp. Another French Shrek accent. I don't
well, then
know
the
why.
swamp is also
Okay.
like a beautiful cemetery too, with the
It would
statue
be.
moment, which
Yeah.
is very Neil Jordan.
Yeah, that was like a weird moment because it doesn't really, nothing like that ever happens again.
That's why I love it so
Yeah,
much. So
it's just
we're in
what
this-
happens?
He's like at the grave of his wife
Yeah.
and
Who?
Louis.
Oh, it's
Flip it.
Brad
See, I
Pitt,
missed
yes.
that part that it was his wife's grave. Should have gotten.
Oh,
should have clocked
okay.
it.
yeah, I believe it is. And
Idiot.
but you know what? That's after the transformation.
Yeah, it is. So
So I'm getting ahead of myself.
So how vampires transform in this? Is this like regular? This is mostly how or no?
You know what? I think Anne Rice created this system, and a lot of people took it over. Like,
Mm.
like for example, Coppola's Dracula took the blood exchange thing, which isn't
Mhm.
really a Dracula thing, but
Okay.
he liked it from
Yeah.
Anne
Uh-huh.
Rice lore. That they drink most of your blood, and then they give you some of theirs.
Here you go.
There you go.
Oh, is that the thing? That's how it's done? I
Yeah.
thought it was like, I thought VPs, vamps, get little, I don't know. I'm on with the VP thing. I'm just going with it.
BPs.
I thought
Yeah, there you
Vibips, I thought they like gave a little crunch and then like some little poison from their fangs is like, here you go. You're now a vampire.
I mean, maybe in certain lore, perhaps, but not
I just
here.
thought that's what happened.
It's about like the transfusion
Okay.
in this universe.
So you just, okay, but yeah. So all the blood has to get sucked off in that amount of time.
Sucked up.
I mean, not like
Don't
All
say.
the
It was an
blood
accident.
gets sucked off. They don't know what to do about it. Yeah, all the blood gets sucked off and suck off my blood.
I'm so upset right now.
um
So it all has to happen in one sitting. Like vampire has to be like, "Oh, I'm hungry today. Gotta sippy poo out of this boy."
I would say so. I think
Yeah.
it happens all at once. Did you ever
Okay.
see Queen of the Damned?
Nah.
I did another podcast about that. That's the same universe. It's the third one.
Kristen, I don't watch movies.
That's the point of the podcast, I guess, right? That's the bit, right?
But maybe you read books.
But all that is to say is that in Queen of the Damned, we meet the vampire who like the original blood stems from.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
So that's like the idea is that
Got
it's
it.
passed on through the ages, one
To
vampire
this
to
one
another.
guy. Ooh.
Yeah. So he turns. It's like a excruciating process. He's like
Yeah?
in pain.
Uh-huh.
He turns into a vampire, and then yes, he sees like the statue above his wife's grave,
Because
and
he
it
says
like
like,
winks. No, it doesn't wink at him.
gives him a thumbs up. You're good.
Yeah.
No, well, because he says like I saw things like I never saw them before, and like he sees the trees and the birds and the animals, and that's how it is in the book. But Neil Jordan threw in an extra treat, which is the statue at his wife's grave, like just opens her eyes and looks around and then closes them again.
Whoa.
It's
Mm.
beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, very subtle. Very subtle.
Cool.
And again, doesn't happen again in any like nothing like that
Nothing-
magical happens again.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And essentially they're just like, I don't know. Now they like Louis moves or not Louis, Lestat. Did we say his name?
No, so
No.
Tom Cruise's character's name is Lestat.
Lestat.
He's the character in the
Okay.
lore.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the main one, but
Mhm.
interestingly enough, the story starts with Louis' perspective. But I
Okay.
think then Anne Rice fell in love with Lestat and was
Yeah.
like, "This is the
Interesting.
guy."
She's
Yeah.
like, I
This is
fucking
the one,
don't
though.
like him. Yeah.
Yeah,
She's allowed.
Yeah.
yeah, man.
So yeah, Lestat moves in to his house.
Yeah, now they live
Yeah,
together.
yeah, the roomies, and they start hanging out. But and this is why I pulled out the rat is that
Right.
Louis still has a very strong affection for humanity and is very human and doesn't want to kill people.
Okay.
Who'da thunk? So
Right.
he does like survive, or he drinks a lot of rat blood and rodent
Lestat
blood.
shows him by he takes a rat and literally like kills it in front of him and then drains its blood into a cup, just as Will did.
Right.
When he asked if I
Nice.
wanted to top up.
There you go.
Yeah, so Louis is avoiding drinking blood, but not for long.
No,
Because Lestat's whole thing is we are natural predators and we should just go
like
for it.
apex predators, like the best of the
Mhm.
best.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And eventually what that turns into is Louis sees like a young girl, not like a child.
Not a child or a
no,
child?
a child
Okay.
mourning like her mother's dead. This is like the height of the
During the plague. yeah.
plague in New Orleans.
Okay.
Is
Gnarly.
that is still in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay,
they're still
yeah,
in
we
New
haven't
Orleans,
traveled
in the
yet.
French Quarter of New Orleans.
Right. But this is like, that's right. This is after Louis, in a fit of rage, burns his house down. and
yeah, I forget
there's-
he's like,
he
burn
kills-
it all down.
Yeah, Tandy Newton.
Yeah. Very
well,
short role, but it was good.
Yeah, she was
Okay.
great.
Because like all of his servants are like they know that like
Oh, right.
something evil is upon, because it's it's a very racist depiction.
Yes,
Of, like,
yeah.
they know the evil.
Mm.
Not to mention he's being portrayed as like he's a
He's a
good
good
plantation
plantation
owner.
Sure.
Yeah.
And then he
Yeah.
kills
Yeah.
Tandy Newton.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a good guy with a plantation. They're the only ones who could take down the bad guys with plantation.
Right.
So he
But we're gonna
so he
go there.
burns
Right.
down his house. Lestat is like angry and just like mocking
Sure.
him, like, he needs to kill off the humanity in him before
Right.
he's got to start killing.
Wait, why? But why though? Like, why is it so important that he starts killing? Like, is it
I
like?
don't know.
Well, big
It's
flaw.
no, it's not really. It's just hard to resist, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's that he has this self-loathing.
Mhm.
Go figure.
Yeah.
Um,
And also Lestat is kind of like he's taken on Louis almost as like a mentee almost, like
mhm.
Okay.
he wants to like
His little
raise Louis up
apprentice.
as even like an equal killer to himself,
Little
because he
protege.
loves killing as a vampire. So
Okay.
he's just like wanting him to do it.
Right.
Yeah, his
Okay.
whole thing is that he he refuses to be depressed, basically.
Yeah.
And but not only that, is a murderer. So there's more to that than it sounds. Otherwise,
Exactly.
it would be very positive.
Yeah. Take it away, Zach.
Oh, what?
Yeah, take it away.
Yeah, about what you were just talking about.
He's a murderer
I
who
knew it.
refuses to be depressed.
Okay, she. He's a murderer, but he's always happy. He likes to tell his friends that he's happy when he goes to the store. He's also happy. Oh boy, I wasn't listening at all.
Yay! Perfect.
There you go.
Wait.
Perfect.
Wait, one more.
Oh.
All right. There you go.
Nice.
But yeah, I shouldn't have interrupted about the he sees a child thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because that is the next big plot point.
Right.
That
Yeah.
during the plague, he sees a child who's like clinging to the corpse of her mother, who's clearly been dead for a very, very long time.
Mhm.
And it's Kirsten Dunst.
Very young Kirsten Dunst.
Right.
Yes.
Child Kirsten Dunst.
Oh, okay.
Amazing in this movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Like 11 or 10, I think she was.
Yeah.
And Louis, she hugs him,
Mhm.
and he's been eating rats for a long time, so he can't resist, and he bites her.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Little girl.
Yeah.
Bites her in a fit of passion, I guess. Just like, yeah.
Crunch, crunch.
And
And he's horrified by what he did.
Yeah.
So he runs away.
Lestat also dances with the mother's corpse.
What
Lestat was
What?
lurking and watching.
Yeah, he was
so
like,
he
"Ha,
sings
ha."
a Mozart aria while dancing with the
Wow.
corpse.
This is a
Just to
little
make her
fucked
feel
up.
better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Take it away, Mozart aria.
This is why
this one's
she
gonna
won.
be a cappella, but let me get my tuning pipe. Okay. Your mother is dead. Your mother is dead. It was not me. Yes, she is dead. It was not me. Yes, you bit small Kristen. And now she is a vampire.
That was beautiful.
Nice.
That's so good. So good. Thank you
Thank
very much. So,
She's not a
It's my
vampire,
favorite
though.
part
Well,
of
she's not
Marriage
a
is
vampire.
Not, I assume.
She's not a vampire
yet.
Ah.
Oh,
So,
okay.
so like Brad Pitt thinks he's
She just,
left
like,
her to
died.
dead, but
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Tom Cruise presents her as a gift and like is like turn her
He's
into
like,
a
you
vampire.
seem lonely.
Yeah.
What if we had a daughter?
Yeah, yeah. What if we brought a
What
child?
if
Like,
we had a
you know, like
child?
we're having problems, me and you. Let's have a child.
Oh,
Yeah, it's exactly.
yes.
It's 100% that. I've never quite thought
yes.
because like Louis keeps wanting to leave, and Lestat's like, "Oh, if we have a baby, then you
Then all
can't."
our
We're
problems
locking
will
you
be
in.
solved. Yeah.
So so Louis refuses to change her. So Lestat does, and she is like immediately like just like wanting more and more blood. Like
She's very
She-
bloodthirsty.
yeah,
Okay.
immediately.
And we sort of go through a montage of her childhood in a
Yeah,
way
in
where
like 5 minutes, it's 30 years later.
yeah,
Oh,
they
wow.
raise her and she doesn't get older, right? She's like
Uh-huh.
always going to be
Little
10 or
girl.
11 in the book. She's supposed to be like 4 or 5, so it's
Oh,
even
wow.
creepier.
Mhm.
Right.
And she has like the worst bloodlust of the three of them, but Lestat loves it because he's all like, I
Like,
refuse
my
to
baby.
be
Yeah.
depressed
Yeah.
by the fact that I need blood. So yeah, they enjoy it, but Louis still has this profound sadness about it. But he
Oh, yeah.
also has the stronger connection with Claudia,
Mhm.
who's the
Okay.
little girl.
Yeah.
Like Claudia loves him more. She doesn't really like Lestat, but Lestat and she get along in terms of loving to murder.
Mhm.
So it's complicated. And then, like you
Hmm.
said, 30 years goes by and she realizes that she's not changing at all.
Yeah.
Mm.
She sees
Just at 30
she
years,
sees like a woman
finally.
changing in the window, and it's like I'll never look like that. I'll never
Okay.
be a woman.
Right.
And we find out later she kills that woman and like keeps her under all her
Jesus.
dolls that Lestat keeps bringing her. Lestat
Yeah.
will bring her dolls every one of her. I think it's her
Every
vampire
birth-
day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
Because she says, "Is this my birthday?" And he doesn't really answer her.
Yeah.
So she has like tons
Oh,
of dolls,
Porcelain dolls.
I
Yeah.
see.
Mhm.
And then at one point they
Creepy.
like take the dolls away and there's just this dead woman's corpse like rotting.
Love it.
And Lestat's number one rule is like you don't leave corpses in the house.
oh,
And you don't even kill in the house most of the time.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah. In the montage, it's like they're killing whole families off too. Like they're just sucking their blood and killing them off.
She and him, like, because she becomes a piano prodigy because she's forever 11, but like has
Right.
been studying piano for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right.
So they like go and tour around like a little Mozart, and I really like Mozart too, by the way. Strike two.
Mozart.
Oh my god.
All right.
More. I don't have my violin.
Well, this is my favorite.
Mozart.
Don't leave corpses in the house. Instead, just suck blood from a mouse. Cause if you have to drink, then they might think you're a vampire. You're a vampire.
This is my favorite Mozart.
You're a
piece.
vampire. Fuck.
It's so good. No, it was. It was kind of dainty and symmetrical.
Yeah.
Bloodshed.
It was his early work. It's
Yeah.
very
It was
not
very
well known.
early work.
Good stuff. Yeah.
No, I loved it.
That
Oh.
was good.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah.
she gets in trouble and she gets mad at Lestat
Yeah.
because he got mad at her, and
Yeah.
she becomes furious that she can't grow old, and she
And she,
learns
like,
that
runs into her bedroom and she like starts cutting off her hair, and then it's
She just wants to change, right?
Oh, interesting.
But then
And
it
it's like
goes back
beautiful
to
Weird.
curly hair, and she screams and she's just like, "Which one of you did it?" Because she doesn't actually know who turned her into a
Curse
vampire.
with eternally beautiful hair.
who did this to me. Yeah. Yeah, and then
Yeah.
and then what? Oh, so
Well,
then
and
she
then,
gets
yeah.
schemy.
She gets scheming.
Oh, that's such a good
She's a
part.
schemer. It is. a good part. Yeah. It
What
is a good part.
happens?
You
so,
go.
Okay. So she goes to Louis and says, like, it's really him, like he's the problem. And Louis like, yeah, but we can't do anything. And she very coyly, he goes, he'll never let us leave. And she, in the most like amazing part of the movie, just looks over her shoulder and says something like, shoot, what is it? Like,
Oh, I should have wrote this
really?
down.
And then like,
Oh, really?
I don't know,
Very
something
good. Prolific.
something amazing, like really.
Something very well written.
It was
Yeah.
well performed anyway.
She's like, yeah, we can leave. Yeah, we totally can.
Yeah, but
That's
she
what she
comes
says.
up with a plan.
Yeah.
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 So Lestat comes home one night and she's like, I have something for you because I know we had a little fight. And there's two twin boys about like 12 or so passed out on the couch.
Oh.
And she's like, here you go. It's a peace offering.
Hmm.
And so he drinks their blood
Mhm.
and then immediately starts feeling unwell.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And he's like, absinthe. You gave them absinthe. And she's
Hmm.
like, no.
No.
I forget what she gave them. What's the
Laudanum.
laudanum?
What the fuck
So
is
the
that?
difference is, I guess because absinthe, maybe he thought like, oh, that'll make me feel kind of woozy,
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
but laudanum killed them, like it was
Mm.
poisonous.
What is?
I think it's just a poisonum.
I think it's a
poisonum.
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 Yeah, it's like a heavy-
Why did he
heavy metal or
immediately
something?
think absinthe?
Well, because he was starting to get woozy, so he just figured like absinthe probably. I think it's
He
like
probably
a popular drink in the French Quarter in 1800, whatever.
Do vampires get drunk?
Well, that's the
Sure.
thing. They'll get drunk if the blood is like drunk.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess
Okay.
has a
Yeah,
high
I'm
alcohol content.
I'm not totally sure. I don't know if they,
Sure.
they don't really explain it, but
No.
he seems not as concerned
Yeah.
about the absinthe.
But
But,
she's
when she
like,
says
laudanum.
laudanum and realizes that they're dead, because she says, it killed them, unfortunately, but it keeps the blood warm.
Mhm.
Hmm.
But so
So-
they're not allowed to drink dead blood. Now they don't really go into
Why?
that in the movie, but do you
They
know
just
in the
say
book
death.
why?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it's in Queen of the Damned where Vincent Perez goes like, you must never drink dead blood or else lest death take you down with it.
Mhm.
So it's not the laudanum.
It's not the laudanum, it's the fact that
it's
it
the
killed
dead blood.
them.
yeah,
And he couldn't tell
It is dead
because
blood.
they stayed warm or
Okay.
something.
Mhm.
Got 'em.
So yeah, it's something
Yeah.
I think it's just because you're drinking essentially life in order to sustain
Uh-huh.
your own life. So if you're drinking death,
Death.
I know that doesn't sound she's
Yeah.
more scientific than that.
She's
about the
very
totally
smart.
real vampires.
Yes.
Yeah, so he's like incapacitated and they kill him. They burn him, right? Or no.
No.
They kill him.
Not yet.
So he does die.
Well, they
so
kill
he's
him.
like retching on the floor and
cute.
she slits his throat and they got this amazing, so I'm going to talk about the film for a second.
Yeah.
So he starts like just bleeding out, right? And they had this amazing animatronic to do it because they also like age him really quickly all of a sudden. Like he rots
Oh.
before your eyes, but meanwhile the blood is just going so much that the whole room gets flooded.
Oh, yeah. It's like Kill Bill in there.
It's
Ooh.
and
I've seen
to the point
that.
like it creeps up to her beautiful satin shoes and you see her reflection in the blood. It's just the whole
Whoa.
scene is a cinematic.
She's like, lift me,
masterpiece."
Louis.
Yeah,
Lift
yeah.
me. Don't want
My
to
little
be such a
shoes. My shoesies.
And they decide they like put him out in the swamp. They put him in a swamp to
Yeah.
bury him, and then like
They literally say
crocodiles
like in the
will-
bayou, I think they're like
In the bayou,
we
yeah.
want the crocodiles will eat him up.
Yeah, so the crocodiles like get at him and eat him, and like they're free of Louis.
Lestat.
Lestat, not
Right.
free of Louis.
Idiot.
Free of Lestat. Louis, Lestat. They're still L names, whatever.
And then they're like, we got to get out of here. Let's get out of New Orleans,
just
start
get
fresh,
out.
you know?
Yes.
And
So they're packing up, they're leaving, and then who shows up?
Lestat.
yeah, he's at the piano.
Like
And he
just like
plays?
corpse. Oh yeah, he plays.
What does he play?
Oh, you don't have a piano.
Pretend.
This is the
Lestat's back, baby.
yeah. Lestat's back. I'm back from the bayou. I'm not gonna do what I tell you. I'm gonna make sure I get revenge. I'm back, baby. I'm Tom Cruise.
Yeah, so he sings that. No, he's
And announces himself as Tom
That's
Cruise.
Tom Cruise.
Yeah.
I'm
This
Tom
whole time he was Tom.
Cruise, what?
Yeah, he's playing
Yeah.
the piano and monologuing at the same time, which is
Mhm.
impressive.
Bitch.
Yeah.
About how, like, first I had to eat some alligators.
Yeah, he
some
fed on
toads
the
and
alligators.
Crap.
Okay, hold on a fucking second. Guy's neck is slit. He's an old bag of bones.
Old bag of
But he's a
bones.
Yeah.
vampire.
And they chuck him into the little bait
But
bayou.
he's a strong he's like one of the
He's-
strongest vampires out there.
So as
Yes.
an old little bag of bones with a slit ass throat, he's like, hum hum, hello alligators, thank you for the extra blood, baby. So gone. I'm youthful again. Get me out of this.
But he's not
swamp."
youthful. He's all
Okay,
He's all
so he's-
decayed and gross.
he's
he
able to
looks like he's
move?
been rotting in a swamp for a while.
Okay.
FYI,
Okay,
great makeup again.
continue.
Why not?
This-
But yeah, the vampire thing in this lore is that basically only burning them and scattering the ashes will do it because
Mhm.
they'll always regenerate.
Yeah. They can
Oh, you
come
gotta
know
back.
what I mean?
scatter the ash.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he has any part.
Scatter that ash,
Like
yeah.
if you burnt
Scatter
them
that
but
ash,
left
baby.
the ashes in a nice pile, they'd eventually
back.
Form back into
It would
Tom
take a
Cruise's
long
perfect
time.
face. Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. It's just his face. He's like, I'm back.
It's like the end of Dracula Dead and Loving It. Have you seen that? Where
No.
Ren-
No.
they burn. It's like my favorite part. They burn Leslie Nielsen, who's Dracula, and he's a pile of ash, and Renfield just draws a happy face
Oh my god.
in the ashes and goes, "You're beginning to look like your old self again."
Oh my god.
It's a very good.
It's
moment.
very good.
Anyway, that's
Yeah.
a different
Ew.
vampire movie.
So they burn Louis. They burn him.
Lestat.
Not Lestat. They burn Lestat.
Okay.
Louis burns Lestat.
Okay, he's at
They
the
just set the
piano.
house on
so
fire.
he's like, I'm back, baby.
Is Tom
And
Cruise
then
actually playing the piano too? Or
I don't
is it they kinda
think
fake
it was him. I'm
Yeah.
sure they just
somebody else's
Yeah.
hands.
somebody's decaying hand.
Just
Yeah.
curious, yeah.
Yeah.
So Lestat's like, I'm back, and they're like, oh no.
And then he attacks Claudia because he wants to kill Claudia,
Right.
basically. And
Because he's like,
Louis,
you've been a naughty little girl.
Right.
naughty little girl.
Yeah.
It's really good.
It's good.
It's really good.
I do it
Okay.
more. I do it more like bad.
Right.
Whereas he does it great. He does
Sure.
the lines great.
No, you did great. You
No,
did great, Will.
Bad. You did
Very, very dramatic.
bad. You don't have to.
And yeah, so like he attacks them, with his super speed. Again, like Brad Pitt does not have powers at this point. So doesn't Claudia, except for super piano paying because she's good
Right.
piano and
She-
she sucks blood.
With enough practice, we could all
and she's a schemer. Yeah,
Right.
she's a
have
schemer
magical
too.
piano powers.
Yeah.
But they end up burning the whole house on fire, and he burns with it. And they rush to the
Or
boat.
so we think.
Or so we think. They rush to the boat and they jump on the boat and they sail off.
They're going off to Europe.
They go off to Europe. And then
Okay.
again, time passes. I don't know how much time, but like probably 50
Well, we definitely
years
get
or
to the
something?
1800s. Like
Yeah.
we get to different dresses with different
Yeah.
kinds of bustles.
Yeah.
The costume designer really nailed like marking the time period
Yeah,
for sure.
Zach,
Cool.
sum up this last half of the movie for us.
Like what just happened?
Yeah,
or
what just
was-
happened?
The whole
Last
half of the
The
movie.
whole half.
Summarize, baby.
30 seconds.
Test.
Well, Tom Cruise was playing the piano, but they didn't know that he was back. They got a little girl who's scheming. She didn't know he was back either. No, she went outside and they went to the swamp and they put him in the swamp and he left the swamp and he came back. So they burned the house down and they left for Europe. And they didn't know that if he was dead or not. They got some
He was
maple
not.
syrup from Canada because they had a layover there
On a ship.
Right.
On a ship.
Yeah.
On the way to Europe.
On
From
the
New
way-
Orleans. They
yeah,
did a
they went
layover.
they went up
quick
north.
layover
They
in
had to make
Canada.
a stop,
Quick little stop.
refuel.
So yeah, they travel
Yeah.
Europe, but in the whole point, Claudia is like researching and they're trying to find out where they came from. They don't know anything about vampires or why. Like Lestat was the only one with the knowledge, but he doled it out almost as like dangling it in front of them, his knowledge.
Yeah, but the fact too, and he hints at this, is that he actually doesn't know that much either. At this
Mhm.
point, he
Hmm.
acts like he does.
Yeah,
But they're all kind of on their own.
yeah.
Just like all of us.
And they end up in France.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
they
They
end
go
up-
to France and Claudia like studies. She gets really into studying the history of vampires and trying to like
Huh.
look for
Okay.
their kind because she wants to learn more, and she realizes that they've kind of been like orphaned in the world without Lestat, and you know,
Uh-huh.
and then they stumble upon the Théâtre des Vampires.
Ooh, say it again.
Théâtre des Vampires.
Like
Français.
Vampire theater.
Is it?
It's
Okay.
it's where Vampire Weekend plays.
Oh.
Yeah. But actually, the way he
That's where they
meets
came
them
from.
is actually really cool. Because they meet Stephen Rea, who plays Santiago,
Mhm.
who he's like,
Yeah, they meet a
I
bunch of
like
like
that name.
Spanish vampires
Santiago.
in France. Although
I
I
think
don't know.
just
Espanol.
Santiago and Armand is supposed to be something up. I don't know, but it's Antonio Banderas, so I guess in
Yeah.
this he's Spanish.
Antonio
Yeah.
Banderas.
But Santiago sort of like plays mirror games with Brad Pitt in the
Mhm.
streets of Paris, and they built a rotating like tunnel pre Christopher Nolan,
Ooh,
like
yeah.
Inception, so
Uh-huh.
that he could like they could film him like walking on the ceiling and doing all these tricks, and Louis kind of obsessed because again he has no powers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He's been left alone.
And he's also
without
excited
Lestat.
because this is the first vampire, or
He's
like,
never met
Right.
another vampire other
Yeah.
than
Right.
Lestat.
Mhm.
Right.
And so but then this dude is all like mocking him, and he's just like,
He's like a very good mime.
he's like, I searched the world for vampires, and this is what I find: buffoon.
Buffoon.
Yeah, Santiago likes to have a good time.
Yeah.
I like
I also love Stephen Rea. He's in every Neil Jordan movie. He and Neil Jordan were like buds. Anyway, that's all. The
I
dress for
saw
Neil
Zach
Jordan.
pick up his
Steven-
phone. He's about to Google Stephen Rea.
Well, no,
When you do,
he's
can you
a
show me?
British actor, right?
Irish. I
Irish.
believe.
Get it right.
He and Neil
Idiot.
Jordan are both Irish. So they did the Crying
Yes.
Game together.
Stephen Ray, yeah.
Yeah.
That's who I was thinking.
Let
Oh,
me
yeah.
see.
In the Company of Wolves.
Mhm.
He's been all kinds.
Yeah.
Breakfast
V for
on
Vendetta,
Pluto.
V for Vendetta.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
He's great
love.
in
He's
that.
so good.
He is.
You ever see that show
I don't know
Dickensian
how to spell
with all the
her name.
Dickens characters?
No, I've never.
He plays Inspector
REA.
Bucket. He's very
Ooh.
good. Anyway, I love
That's it?
love a Stephen
with a
Rea.
PH, and then-
That being said,
Yeah. So
Uh,
then we're
Oh.
introduced to
Yeah.
Armand.
because they go to the theater at
Mhm.
which Santiago works.
Yeah.
He's sort of like they have what do you call it? Like, it's a grand guignol, which is like a sort of
It's like a
how would one
pantomime-
describe that?
Pantomime?
Yeah, like a
Cool.
Or like a-
theatrical
what's it called?
burlesque kind of, not burlesque, but
Would it be kind of like what are they called? Like the Bible plays, but like what are they called?
Passion plays?
Passion plays?
Morality plays? Or
Passion?
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't
kind
know
of
a
like
passion
that,
play.
except
Yeah.
for vampires, but like it is in the style of the whole thing about Grand Guignol is like the blood in streamers, like they liked
yeah.
gore
Oh,
and
cool,
violence,
cool,
so they
cool.
do
Yeah,
like
yeah.
fake violence on
Fun.
stage.
Mhm.
And the audience is all humans, and they're like, "Oh, delightful! It's so fake. We
Yeah.
love horror when it's fake."
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then Armand comes out, and they all like kill a human woman on
Yeah,
stage
like on stage
in
in,
a
front of
brutal
everyone.
play,
Yeah.
like
But everyone thinks it's
I was very traumatized,
Theater.
not expecting it. Renting
For
the
real?
movie as a child, yeah.
So they don't do the fake ribbon blood.
no. They
That's
kill
right.
the-
They did
well,
it the whole show until at the
yeah.
very
but
end.
you'd actually, well,
and
I guess you see
everybody's
a-
just like,
you see a bit of blood, but then
gore.
all the vampires like swarm her, and then like the curtain goes down, and everyone's like, oh, "This is great."
Oh.
That's true. You don't see her die, but
No.
it's pretty
But you
clear.
know that she's a real human woman who dies. But all the rest of the actors are vampires, like pretending.
And that's when we first see Antonio Banderas, because he comes out. They're all like, playing at attacking her, and Armand comes out. Armand is Antonio Banderas, and you think like, oh, is he going to save her? What's he going to do? But he wants to kill her.
He
Yeah.
wants to slit her through.
Mhm. Mhm.
So he
Beautiful, long black hair.
yeah, just comes out, and then
Sweet.
they invite like Antonio Banderas shows up with Santiago to give like Brad Pitt the card of like, here's our theater. He's like,
Oh, yeah.
come to
Here's
our
my card.
improv show.
Yeah.
And so they show up, and so they invite them like backstage, which is where they live in this like deep like pit cave
Cute.
like dungeon under the theater. They all these vampires live there.
They
Yeah.
chose to live in that environment. They
Yeah,
didn't,
no, so you can't have
choose
It's
sunlight.
kind of like
You
an
gotta
old
protect
crypt.
yourself from
Like
sunlight.
I wonder if it's inspired by
And we
like
never
the
said this.
catacombs.
They
of
do sleep in
Paris.
coffins. That's a total thing they do. They sleep in coffins.
Well, yes, all
All
the
of them,
vampires
including
do.
Lestat and Louis.
Even
And,
They were doing that before.
they were doing that before.
oh yeah,
Do we know what happens if they go in sunlight?
They
We will
burn.
find out. We will
So
find
they,
out.
Right,
we've
we
been
will find
doing
out.
We don't know yet?
nighttime.
Okay.
We've been doing nighttime this whole
Oh
time.
yeah. He
Thanks,
sees his last
guys.
sunrise before he becomes a vampire, and
Got you.
we're not back in the daytime for a while.
Mm.
Yeah.
Got it.
But these vampires in particular, their thing here and more so in the books is that they believe they are meant to be evil and also should be like punished for it, but also are into it. It's a whole complicated
So they're
thing.
Catholic.
Armand is, yeah. Well, like, but Armand is very like, he's like a cult leader. Like he's like, we're the devil's children and we're meant to do this, but we should also feel bad about it, but also take glee in it. Like it's very complicated and weird.
Confusing.
And Louis is kind of like, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
And Claudia is like, absolutely not. We're leaving because that guy is into you. To Brad Pitt. He's like, he wants you, and she knows that like he wants to get. I think she knows that like she is the only thing keeping them from teaming up and being the new like Lestat and Louis.
Yeah.
Oh,
But in a much more wholesome way. you
Is
know?
it?
Yeah, I guess so.
What?
I don't know.
No.
Because Armand is
Are
not
you
like
sure?
Lestat as
Is
much.
he?
Or is he? I don't know. I
He
guess it's a
is.
little.
I'm getting.
I think he's
I
worse.
feel like the book probably goes
Mm.
into a bit more detail on Armand.
But I even think in the movie, like he's
He's hiding-
acting
he's-
like he's
yeah,
better, but
yeah.
he's not. I mean,
He's just
that's
as
what the murdering the
cold-blooded
girl on
girl.
the stage is, right?
That's true.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
Because you think like
Yeah.
he acts like he's nice about it. He believes like, oh, we're
Mhm.
suffering about it though, but he still does
Yeah.
it.
Mhm,
Lestat was just like, I'm not going to apologize for it. I'm just going to do it.
mhm.
But Armand's like, we should still feel bad, but we should do
Now-
it as much
Right.
as possible.
Manipulative.
we find out some more
Yeah.
powers because as they're leaving Santiago, like we hear like Brad Pitt
Mm.
narrating, and we think he's narrating from
Like for us,
For
extra,
us, or-
extra diegetically.
yeah. He's like narrating for
Word,
like
Kristen.
for like
Masters in theater.
for like Christian Slater, like, but actually he says like like, you know, I almost regret killing him or something. He says like about
He
Lestat,
says,
and then
like, we
suddenly hear
shouldn't have killed
Santiago's
him.
voice like, "Who do you
He
regret
goes, who
killing?"
did you kill?
Yeah,
Huh.
He goes, is that what happened to your maker, the one who made you
yeah.
or something?
So you can
Uh-huh.
read minds, Santiago. You
Oh,
can read your thoughts.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Bruh.
yeah.
What?
And he also says, I think he says at that point, like, we only have one law, and it's don't kill your kind.
Oh,
Mhm.
man, he's in trouble.
And not a law, but they also don't make vampires as young as Claudia. Like whoever made her shouldn't have done
They
it.
also
Oh.
said that they're like, you shouldn't have.
Yeah.
Children aren't
Shouldn't have
supposed
done
to
that.
be.
Don't do that.
Children aren't supposed to be vampires.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, that's another
They can't
kind
do
of
that.
weird thing is Armand has like a little boy servant who they feed off of, but only like not they don't kill him. They just feed off his wrist from time to time because he's got delicious blood. I
Little
guess.
boy.
Yeah, in the Vampire the Masquerade universe, we would call that a ghoul.
Ooh, a ghoul.
He's just
Oh,
a little
ghoul.
boy.
Yeah, he's a little boy who they just like drink blood from. I
What are your
literally,
favorite
when
things?
I was like,
Ghouls? Yeah.
when I was like, who could I cosplay as tonight? I was like, the only person whose hairdo I have is that little boy.
Victorian
Oh.
I was
Yeah.
like, I could be the little blood boy.
The blood boy. Little blood sack.
But then I was like, he wears like the little lad costume from
Oh.
TikTok. I
Take
was
it
like,
away,
I can't
Zach.
do that.
No.
You know the berries and cream?
Yeah, do you know berries and cream?
What?
Something. Yeah.
Well, he's a little blood boy. He didn't get a whole lot of books or toys. He's just a blood boy. Gets sucked by vampires. Blood-wise, not the other way. No, they kept him around so they could feed on him and go out to town while he stayed indoors. Didn't have too many chores because he was just a blood boy.
Blood boy.
Jesus Christ. We're going to jail.
I am not affiliated with any opinions expressed on this show.
So yeah, and I think I essentially this kid is probably like he's at a certain
I think
age
we
they'll
can
turn
move
him into
away
a
from
vamp.
the blood
I'm
boy.
just-
If
I'm
I'm being
assuming-
honest, I think we get the point of
Fascinated
the
by
blood
it.
I'm
boy.
assuming at a certain age they'll turn him into a vampire, and that's
We
why he
don't
does
know.
this.
Maybe they'll kill him.
Sure,
They're like,
maybe
we
they'll
don't
kill
know.
him.
Just
Yeah.
don't turn him into a vampire.
Right, because he doesn't get turned unless
Yeah.
they give him their blood.
That's
He
right.
just
Make
thought
it
this
into
was
the-
an understudy gig at the theater. But
Yeah, he's like, when am I going to get the lead, you guys?
It's like, I don't have my equity card yet.
so so Louis like grappling because he does want to be with Armand. He does have a connection with Armand. He actually does
Oh.
really like him.
Interesting.
Yeah, Louis is marked by his sadness and loneliness. And that's
Yeah.
why other vampires tend to like him. Because
Mhm.
the other thing is he doesn't have these powers because he's clinging to his like humanity. And that makes him that makes him very attractive to other
Yeah.
vampires. Like they want to be
Mhm.
around him.
And
Interesting.
There's a lot
Huh.
of talk.
And he's beautiful.
We'll skim over it a
He's very
bit.
good
Gorgeous.
looking.
We'll skim over it a bit, but there's a lot of
Boy.
talk by Armand about like, Louis is representative of his age, and the other vampires are decadent. He doesn't like Armand doesn't like the other vampires. They're
Yeah.
decadent and fools or whatever. But Louis represents his age, this
It's
time
his-
of
he keeps
revolution,
talking about
and
like your
deep
heart.
struggle. Yeah,
You have this
heart,
sorrowful heart.
Yeah.
And-
Right. It's not
Yeah.
a bitter bitch yet.
Yeah.
Mhm. But that's also why they surmise why he like doesn't have any powers. Like they say there's the fire gift. You can light things on fire. You can read minds. You can
Ooh.
Santiago can crawl on the roof. Like
Right.
you can fly. Lestat can fly.
Right.
All that stuff. But
Yeah.
Louis can't do any of it,
Can't
and
do
he also
shit.
doesn't want to.
Okay.
And so one night, Claudia brings home a young
A
woman
lady.
who lost her daughter,
Hmm.
whose daughter died, and wants to be turned into a vampire so that she
Madeline.
can have a child who will never die, and they can just live together
Oh, the
forever.
two of
And
them.
Claudia wants
Okay.
a new parent because she's like, Louis is gonna leave me. Yeah, you're gonna leave me for
Oh.
Armand. So
She basically says, "I see what's happening, so you need to make me a new partner. Like you
Okay.
need to make me a new guardian."
Yeah.
And Madeleine is like, "I absolutely would love to be a vampire and be
She's
your
like,
mother.
"Sounds
Like
so
this all
cool.
sounds
like,
great."
Sign me up.
Yeah, poor Madeleine. I really feel bad for her in the
Mhm.
whole story. We'll see why.
no.
But
so
and
he
Louis is
does.
kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
He regrets
turns
and
her
but
into a
he does
vampire.
it, and then he tells Claudia, and he's just like, whatever was left of Louis or whatever was left of human of me has died in that room or something. Like,
Yeah, because he's never turned anyone into a vampire before, and
Mm-hmm.
he never wanted to, but he did this for her.
Okay.
For
Okay.
her.
I heard.
for her.
And then all the vampires from the Théâtre de Vampire come in and
I can't do that. Like, yeah, I can't do that. I can't do the
c'est
Fleming.
l'immersion français.
Stop
Théâtre
it.
de Vampire.
Cantor Vanderpamp.
I like that too. Yeah, they all come in and they just grab them
Grab them.
both. They
All of
grab
them,
all
yeah.
three of them, Madeleine, Claudia, Louis, and they drag them to the crypts, the catacombs where they live,
Yeah.
and
there's this one like redheaded vampire lady
it's
who's
time
like,
for justice, little one.
yeah, because they suspect and they know that they killed their master, and so they're like, that's the number
and
one
they're like,
rule.
you cannot do that.
Yeah,
Take it away, Zach.
No, I was doing hits every time.
Take it away, I said, Zach.
we need a
Alright.
musical break.
Give us a French song.
Number
Oh, a
one
French,
rule: they can't
En français.
kill
we don't have
the
time for you
master.
to tune
No,
in.
I got it.
Perfect.
Can't kill the master.
Oh.
Zut alors. Bien sûr.
We are taking you to our crypt.
Okay.
Everyone knows what you do there. You have to strip. And we have
We're going to jail.
No, this
We
is all the
have-
adult man.
Only everyone over 18.
we
S'il
have
vous
lots
plaît.
of things. We have wine. We have anything you need in the crypt. Come, be yourself at the crypt.
It's Moulin Rouge.
Yeah.
Okay,
you go.
thank you. We'll call on you later. It's fine.
Advertisement than it was a
It's
song.
good.
There we go.
That's fine.
Yeah. So what happens next?
I don't know.
You got to go let someone in. Sorry.
So what happens next? Okay, so they throw Madeleine and Claudia. I should go fast, eh?
Oh, it's fine. Keep going.
So they throw
Should go
Madeleine and
fast.
Claudia into a room that has like a hole up to the ceiling, and they just leave them there because the sun is going to come and they're just going to burn alive.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Louis has been put upside down in a coffin in the walls, like buried alive upside down, which is
Yeah.
terrible.
Oh yeah.
Rude.
Terrifying.
I mean, like burning alive is also
Yeah. He turns into a real Ryan.
It's all bad.
Ryan Reynolds in that movie where he's buried alive.
I don't understand.
I don't know if
I don't get
was
it.
Ryan Reynolds buried alive.
Yeah, there was a movie called, was it Buried or Buried Alive? Where he's like, it's just him in like a
Oh
know.
yeah.
buried alive in a box, and the whole movie is just
Don't know.
him,
I wouldn't.
like trying to
Sounds
get out.
awful.
He's
I
not
wouldn't
too
want to
bad.
be
He's not
the
too bad.
actor in that movie. Also, like
No,
I
that's
would
a-
be traumatizing.
That is
myself.
yeah, that's a commitment.
Yeah, fuck that.
But yeah, it doesn't last too long. because Armand takes him out.
Yeah, but meanwhile, so Claudia and Madeleine, the sun hits them, and we see what happens to vampires when that goes on,
Mhm.
and they burn to a crisp.
They're dead.
They're
Crispy
just
crisp.
like it's like Pompeii is what
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think they modeled them after.
Like
And again,
ash statues. Is that-
yeah, and again, he's crawling behind me. But again, a really cool filmmaking thing because so Louis runs out and Armand goes in what I think is an error. Armand says, "I could only risk losing you." I'm like, I feel like he meant to say, "I could only risk saving you,"
yeah.
but I could be wrong about that.
Hmm.
It does seem like an error. Like
It seems like a mistake in the script.
Yeah.
But he runs and he finds these ashen corpses, like a la Pompeii, and he goes to touch her cheek, Claudia's cheek, and they crumble and blow away into the wind. So what they did is they made these very delicate molds, like of ash and
Ooh.
like a string system. So they had a CGI hand come in, but then they pulled the strings so that they very delicately and slowly crumbled.
Ooh, that's cool.
That is
Yeah.
wicked.
Again, it's like it seems like CGI the whole thing. But it's
Wow.
just,
Very little CGI in
That's
the movie,
amazing.
like a little bit, but like
Holy
literally, if you
shit.
watch it, the hand looks really fake, but you're not watching the hand; you're watching the corpses.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, really beautiful and
Wow.
sad. But then Louis, you see him looking at it, and something's like changing in him, and he goes on the rampage.
Yeah.
Right?
He goes on a rampage. He burns the whole theater down.
He gets a sickle. And
Oh, yeah.
he's wearing
Oh my
like a
God.
blousey shirt and a vest,
Oh,
and he's
yeah.
all tousled, like he's mad and he's gonna kill a bunch of.
Wow.
It's
He is a manly killer.
Brad
Okay.
Pitt's coming in and he's like death itself come to kill all these evil vampires.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he does. He sets them all on fire.
He-
There's vampires on fire flying. Like
Up in the air. He
What?
slices their heads off.
he slices heads off. He slices Stephen Rea from like in a diagonal across him like this.
Oh,
And
yeah.
then they had a cool prosthetic where Stephen Rea's on the floor, like with his head. I'm so into the practical effects in this
You are.
movie.
What?
But it's really cool. Really
It's
cool.
Really
It's so
cool
good.
stuff.
And then a carriage, beautiful shot. Like we see just the mist outside because Louis goes outside and it's almost daybreak and he's like, "I'm gonna die too." But then a carriage comes through the mist and
Ooh.
Armand snatches him up. Armand
Fucking
saves him.
And guess who is doing
Don't
the carriage?
even- don't
Who?
fucking-
Guess who?
Tom
Stat.
Cruise.
No.
Claudia.
No.
Who the fuck then?
Zach, take it away.
Cameron Diaz.
No.
Oh.
It was
funny.
Blood Boy. Use the recorder.
Oh, I forgot about Blood Boy.
He's right.
Blood
He's
Boy. The return of Blood Boy.
No, we'll have
okay.
copyright.
Change
We'll
it now.
copy-
Change it now.
Copyright.
It was always Blood Boy. He came in and killed them. He was not going to be their food. Once more, he closed the door and he burned them till they were ashes and
This is just.
Does
goes
this
to
mean we can
show
share the award now? Or is it-
how much-
You are now
Yeah,
entitled to
yeah.
half of all my Canadian podcast awards.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this moment where Louis and Armand are walking down a beautiful hall in a very fancy place, and Armand's just sort of musing on like, well, it was all for the best, blue, blue, blue. Like, I don't know, he doesn't seem upset. And Brad Pitt clasps his face in his
Yeah.
hand very Godfather-like. It says
Oh, yeah.
essentially like, "I know it was you," and it breaks my heart. But not
Essentially.
like, "Oh, but you did," and like is basically knows that Armand orchestrated the whole killing of Claudia and Madeleine
Right.
because Armand was trying to pretend like he had nothing to do with it, which
Right.
is ridiculous.
Yeah. So
And they almost kiss.
I did read the
They
book.
almost.
Oh,
I read the
almost
book a while
kiss.
ago,
No,
but I feel like in the book they definitely play up like Louis and Armand have more of like a romantic relationship a little bit more in the book, don't they? Like almost like it could be.
All of them do.
They do, yeah. They
This-
all kind of do.
they're
But this movie really
vampires.
is just like it
It is-
plays with it, but it doesn't go because
Yeah.
it is the 90s. but-
Yeah. Yeah. We could talk.
Yeah.
I mean, we could talk about how the only, I think, kiss that happens between vampires is, in fact, Kirsten Dunst and Brad Pitt when it should be Brad Pitt
Oh,
and
yeah.
all the other men.
Yeah. It should
That's problematic in and of itself that they
Yeah.
would rather show that
Yeah.
than, and it's a fairly innocent kiss, but like, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
that a gay kiss would have been less,
too much. And then,
would have been more,
Yeah.
scandalous than.
especially if it's Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. You can't do
I
that.
want to
Sure.
see it. I
I
want to
know.
see it.
They should do a
I want to
remake.
see Brad Pitt
Do
kiss
it-
Antonio Banderas.
Do it with a remake now, you know?
Well, there is a
Sure.
With
remake.
both of them.
There is
For
a
real?
remake coming. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, Louis is going to be played by his last Jacob Anderson, who plays
Oh.
Grey Worm in Game of Thrones.
No.
Oh,
I don't know.
interesting.
Haven't
Yes.
heard of it.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Unfamiliar.
at least that's what I've heard. I mean, don't like YouTube. Don't go off my words. This is what I've heard
Crazy.
down the grapevine. I am
Yeah.
excited for it.
So yeah, he's just like
I just need them to kiss.
he's just like, I know that it was you, and yeah, I don't want to be your partner, your friend.
Because essentially, he's like, you're just as bad as Lestat. Like he just keeps finding the same kind of guy.
Terrible.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor
And
guy.
and then, it really jumps ahead a lot. He talks about and then it was just him for hundreds of years. Well, I guess what, 200 years was it? Yeah.
Yeah, probably because
So
about the
180?
mid 1800s to 1990s.
3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because then he basically goes on a montage of like, I went around the world all by myself.
And then they
sad as
invented
anything.
moving pictures, and I could see a sunrise.
Yeah, he
in
goes
black
to
and
the
white at
movies and he
first.
sees a black and white
cool.
sunrise. He sees like a sepia sunrise or something, and then he goes by long lost blue, and there's a shot of Superman flying
Yeah.
away from the
Oh
earth.
my
Christopher Reeve's
God.
Superman.
Looking
yeah.
at sunrise from space as Superman, and I'm like, that's kind of a funny shout out.
And then he moved back to the French Quarter in New Orleans, but New Orleans was back, baby. It was
Right.
back in a big way because it burnt down and it was suffering
I
from
mean-
the plague, but he came back.
Yeah, hundreds of years later,
Yeah.
he came back, and,
And
he
he's
goes
got
to.
he's got the big white 80s suit on. Brad Pitt.
Amazing
It's
suit.
amazing. that where the shoulders are a bit too
Yeah,
wide.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
and he goes to Lafayette Cemetery, which is
Mhm.
like where I want to go. I want to visit New Orleans so badly, and I want to go to Lafayette Cemetery just so that I can like revisit this scene in my head. Not that I'm I don't know. Who knows if it's accurate in any way or if they actually filmed there. I'm not sure. But he goes to a crypt because he sort of follows some breadcrumbs, sees some like dead rats and stuff, and he's like,
Interesting.
something's going on here. So he goes into a crypt.
What?
And what happens in the crypt? Well,
he goes into a crypt? Yeah.
doesn't
No, he
and
goes
then
into a
there's-
house. Isn't there a house or something? Or is there something else? I'm
Oh, I
missing?
thought it was like an old crypt, but maybe it is a
No,
house.
but
It's
he
like a
sees- he
dilapidated
sees-
building.
He sees a ton of
He says like dead cats.
ton of these
and-
guys too. These bad
Just
boys.
Oh, you
Red
found a
in
way
the
to bring them back.
Yeah,
cage.
just like dead rats.
Stop.
There's some wine on there.
Yeah.
Ton of dead rats and like rodents. And he walks into this house, and who's sitting in the chair?
Bruh, I don't know anymore.
Just
Blood
guess. I want to
boy.
know who you think.
No.
Guys, we gotta let go
Claudia?
of Blood
Grown
Boy.
blood boy.
Is it Claudia?
I need us to move away from Blood Boy. No, it's not Claudia.
Is it his wife?
No,
What the fuck?
no, his wife is long dead.
Who is it?
Come on, one other character.
Who's the
in
biggest
Is it
star?
Lestat?
Yeah.
Whatever.
And he's like,
Still playing the
whatever, you
piano.
should just over
I
Lestat.
don't fucking care.
He's the best.
So okay.
I mean, he's awful.
He's like sitting.
But- I mean, he's terrible.
Cold-blooded killer, but he's the best. He's the best.
So
He's
he's
the-
chonking on rats.
He's all weak and he's like in this beautiful decayed lace, and this is my jam, is this part, because he's all by himself and in a decaying haunted mansion with like I love it, and he's all rotting.
feeding on rats,
He's
which he
still
locked
feeding on
Louis
rats.
for.
Right.
Yeah.
because he's too weak, right? Because that's the whole he burned, but they didn't
They didn't die.
scatter the
Yeah.
ashes. They
Someone
didn't.
drew a smiley face in those ashes.
Right,
Someone drew a
right,
smiley
right.
face in the ashes. He's still with us.
He's still alive.
And he's very weak, but Louis comes and Lestat is like, what? Like, imagine what we could do together again. Like, just take care of me, and I'll come
Yeah.
back to remember how beautiful I was. And he was so beautiful.
He
And
was-
like,
This is toxic.
it's a very toxic
This is
relationship. But and you know what,
Abusive
Louis
relationship.
has developed enough to see that. Because he looks him in the
Okay.
eye and and he thinks about it, but then like a helicopter comes for no reason that I can.
He's like,
Is it a helicopter?
yeah, I
or
know.
a
It's just
truck?
like
I don't even know what it is. A big bright light.
it's a
outside.
helicopter
I'm pretty
with like
sure
a spotlight.
It's a helicopter, and now I don't know why.
I don't know why they're shining
Okay.
in, but like like Lestat is terrified because he's terrified of the modern world. He never adapted.
Oh,
he never.
He's just been healing all this
Yeah.
time
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's been taking this
Doesn't
long
even
to
know
just
what it is.
He
regenerate.
thinks it's sun. And he's like, oh no!
Right.
And
A
Louis
light
just like, it's
brighter than
false
the
light.
day."
It's false light, Lestat. And so he's scared. He's a scared little boy,
Mhm.
little blood boy.
Yeah.
Gotta move away from
Stop
it.
BB is gone.
But he gives him one more like come back
He does
and
that.
Louis is like,
You know you want it.
no,
Yeah.
and leaves him. And good for him. Like he's self-actualized. Louis is finally
Nice.
self-actualized.
It only took him like 300 fucking years.
And it probably
like,
takes most of us that long.
I'm moving to San Fran.
I'm
Yeah.
going to San Francisco.
Nice.
And really, and so now we cut back. Christian Slater's finished
Right.
recording, and like,
And he's like, that's
like
it.
yeah, like Louis
That's the
like,
story.
I never saw him again, and life goes on, and I'm miserable.
And I hate
And
my life.
Yeah, Christian Slater's like, what? No, this is not the end. You can't. This is not it.
And Christian Slater basically is like,
Make me a vampire.
turn me into it. This
Come on.
sounds great.
He's
I
like-
don't know why he really thinks it's. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like you can live
This guy's
forever. I
weird.
want to live
Yeah, I
forever.
know.
Yeah.
He's literally like, why did you bring me here? Why? Like, of course you want me to make. You want to make me a vampire. That's what you want to do, right?
Mm.
And Louis attacks him because he's mad about it. And he's like,
Yeah.
"Is this what you want? You want death?"
Right.
Yeah.
And it's all scary. And Christian Slater's like, "I don't know. Never mind. Like, wait, I didn't think it through." and
This is a
then
bad idea.
Brad Pitt disappears, and Christian Slater like heads for the hills. He basically runs out. He grabs his tapes. He's running. He hops in his convertible, gets
Cute.
on the highway, pops the tape in, and starts hearing Louis. And is like, "Whoo! I did it! Like,
Oh, I
it's
got
the
the
interview
story."
of a century."
Yeah.
Right.
And then guess who shows up?
Blood Boy.
Take it away, Zach.
Oh, reprise. I don't even remember where that one went. Blood Boy.
It's never Blood Boy.
It was never.
It was Blood Boy. He was there at the end. They knew he was there and he wasn't a friend. He burned them all and he came to find them in the house. And he blinded them with a helicopter. It was him the whole time. He was flying it because he's like 5.
You got his helicopter
There
flying
it
license.
is.
I did.
Cause he's a blind boy. He's a blind boy.
So it's not Blood Boy.
No.
No, it's
God
not.
damn it, no.
It's Lestat
Fuck
looking
off.
better than ever.
Oh,
No, he
full-
starts off
a
all
healthy
corpse-like.
Lestat.
Well, he starts
Oh,
off kind of
true.
sunken in, and,
Yeah.
and he says, "So we have to do the whole scene, right?"
Oh
'Cause
yeah.
it's
Well,
iconic.
we forgot the line
Wait,
he
he's
says,
flying
but
the
we'll say it
helicopter?
this time. Yeah.
Well, so we're listening to Louis on the tapes, right? And then Lestat grabs him and goes like, "I assume I need no introduction." And then he bites Christian Slater, and Christian
Mhm.
Slater. And meanwhile, the car is on the highway careening. So that's extra danger.
Ooh.
And he drinks Christian Slater's blood. Christian Slater's like, "Oh, all weak and horrible." And then Lestat just very delicately and casually plops himself in the driver's seat, fixes his lace cuffs.
Because he still dresses like it's $17.99.
Shouldn't we all? And he just figures out how to drive.
Yeah.
And he's
Sounds
listening
fun.
to the tapes.
See, I see this shot as like he's adapted now. He's kind of adapting. He's like, oh, I can drive. I know how to drive.
He is the supreme example, though, of fake it till you make it.
That's true.
Like
that's true.
his confidence. He's like, I can figure out a car.
This is
Like, he's
fine.
fine with it. I figured it out. He got to San Francisco. Probably flew.
Yeah.
But and then he says he's listening to Louis and goes, Louis,
took the
Louis,
red
still
eye, yeah.
whining Louis with a wonderful WH.
Yeah.
Um,
And then he said this line to Brad Pitt earlier, but we didn't say it. But it's much more powerful here because it's like the last line, and he's like, so I'm gonna give you the choice I never had.
to Christian Slater, because that's what he said when he
When he turns Brad
when he
Pitt
turned
into
Brad
a
Pitt.
vampire.
I'm
Yeah.
going
Give him a choice.
I never had to become
Either
a vampire or
become
not.
Vampire or die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's kind of a joke because I don't think he really makes it a choice. I think he just does it.
Well, I mean, I guess he would let
Yeah.
them die.
And then
Yeah, I feel like he would.
so he's driving away in the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge,
And we zoom out on the Golden Gate
and
Bridge.
a cover of
Times
Sympathy for the
Magazine.
Devil.
Yeah.
Guns N' Roses cover of
Yeah.
Sympathy for the Devil.
starts playing.
I got so into Guns N' Roses
Yeah.
at this point in my life
So
because of
into
this
it.
film.
You know that it's
Familiar.
please allow me to introduce myself. I'm a man of wealth and taste. Okay, that's as much as we can sing.
Oh,
or else
yeah.
we're gonna get shut down. Okay.
Actually?
Well, I don't know.
Woo.
Probably.
I'm,
We can go woo woo.
I'm familiar.
It's a Rolling Stones song. No?
Don't tell me
If
like
we-
I'm supposed to know.
Well, this isn't haven't heard it. It's haven't seen it.
Well,
So,
do you think I have?
no.
You don't know Rolling Stones or Guns N' Roses?
I know them. I
Never
don't
heard of Axl
know
Rose and
if I've
Slash and
heard
the rest of the band. I don't know any other names.
Sweet child.
I know a couple songs.
Yeah.
Beautiful
And so yeah,
Beautiful
the credits roll.
movie.
That
That's
pisses
it.
me off.
with problems.
Well,
as you
because
pointed out,
because this
but-
is the first in a sequel of novels. There's a prequel and a sequel, right?
But only
Yes.
one movie.
So the first is Interview with the Vampire, followed by The Vampire Lestat, because
Fuck off,
we learn all.
Lestat.
Oh, it's so good. That's my favorite one.
Fuck it.
It's my favorite one, Alenka.
Whatever.
And then The Queen of the Damned, which you should watch that movie too.
Mhm.
No,
Okay.
again, not a
So-
perfect movie,
No.
but a very
So
good.
they made
movie.
the first one and they made the last one, but they didn't make the Vampire Lestat.
Well, you know
You
what?
want to know why?
I was going to tell you that as someone who has seen both films and read all the books,
Yes.
that The Queen of the Damned does include a section that tries
Oh.
to sum up
Mm.
the Vampire Lestat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Poorly, but it attempts it.
Okay, whatever.
What were you going to say?
Don't fucking care about Lestat.
No one cares.
You gotta
I just don't
you gotta
think I
get
like
on.
Tom Cruise at all.
See, you think that, but you haven't seen
In
Interview
this
with
movie,
the Vampire.
yeah, and he's pretty fantastic in this
This is
movie.
my Tom Cruise impersonation.
Yeah. Well, what did you think of this whole movie?
I would watch it for sure.
Please
Kind of want to
do.
watch it now. I want to see the cute little baby blood boy.
No,
It's such a small
you're gonna
part,
be
but-
underwhelmed. He only has
I
two.
know.
Look, he's only on screen
I
for
need
2
to
seconds.
Blood
see
boy.
Blood boy.
We've really
Blood
made far too much out of Blood Boy.
Yeah.
He has hair like this,
He does.
That's
yeah.
why I want to
this.
see him.
and he
Got
dresses
it.
like the little lad boy
Yeah.
or the little lad dance boy. So there you go.
I mean, I was
Yeah.
gonna ask you to rate it out of Blood
Crazy.
Boys, but I think
Yeah.
I will
Yeah?
change it to
Yeah?
Please,
What now?
please let go.
Okay.
How many what?
I beg you.
how
Come on.
how
Come on.
many how many bloodthirsty crocodiles do you give this movie?
Oh. I give a big old bayou full of bloodthirsty crocodiles. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Are they not alligators?
Both.
Alligators.
I don't know.
Couple bloodthirsty gators.
never learned the
couple
difference.
Bloodthirsty crocs. Fill the bayou with that.
Alligator.
They're alligators. sorry.
Tom Cruise said
Fill it up.
alligator.
You were thinking,
I thought-
and it
I
was like
tried
you
to
were thinking
remember.
through the whole movie.
He says,
until it's
"Ask the alligator."
yeah, there
Yeah,
you
yeah,
go.
yeah.
It's alligator.
I would fill that bayou with it, but I would maybe take one out because fuck you, Tom Cruise.
I mean, like,
I'll see it.
Yeah, but
I
you
might
got,
watch it.
You'll.
Pretty sure it's on Netflix, so I can watch it.
Is it on Netflix?
I don't know.
I don't know if it is. You should. It's somewhere.
It's
I'll
somewhere.
lend it to you. I have it on Blu-ray.
There you go.
I only have like 5 Blu-rays. This is one of
This
them.
is one.
And this is 3 of
Jeez.
them.
Literally, like 2 Draculas, Interview with the Vampire, The
Amazing.
Wolfman.
Awesome
Anyway.
collection.
Well, Kristen, thank you for coming on
Sharing
live
Thank you
in
for
person,
having us.
everyone.
It's weird being live and scary. I script everything I do in
Ooh.
podcast world, so I
No,
get
but you-
scared
you
of
did
saying
so
my own.
wonderfully.
I
We
see.
understand why you beat us. So.
I don't know. I'm pretty
Okay, but
impressed.
if people
with
wanna
these theme
listen-
songs.
If people want to listen
Honestly, Blood Boy
and
with
follow
Naomi
you,
hit so far tonight.
where can they find you?
You know what?
Where can they find you online, Kristen?
You can listen to my podcast On a Dark Cold Night, which is a bedtime ghost story
the voice.
podcast. This is the voice.
It is.
You can listen to it at kristenzaza.com/podcast, which is the most original RSS feed you'll ever find. Or any podcast app. You can follow me on Twitter at A Dark Cold Night, Instagram at Dark Cold Night Podcast, or on my Facebook or YouTube channel pages, just called On a Dark Cold Night. I also just got TikTok. Gonna try to be one of those relaxing,
Fun.
optimistic people on TikTok.
Yes.
Kristen Zaza,
That's
all one
goals.
word.
There you go.
Following.
Don't judge me, I'm trying.
Don't judge me. TikTok's a nightmare.
It kind of is, but I kind of am obsessed with it.
No.
Anyway, sorry.
And once again, you can follow us on Instagram at Haven't Seen a Podcast and Twitter at haven't_seen_it, and on our Facebook page, Haven't Seen a Podcast. We also have a website, haven'tseenapodcast.com. You can find a list of all the movies that Alenka hasn't seen. We're working through them. Next up, we're going to take another 15-minute break, but next up, we have Rob Feedham of the RIP Podcast talking about Friday the 13th, Part 2. That's next up
Live,
either in
baby.
15 minutes or next week if you're listening to a later loser. So
How dare
get
you.
ready because we're listening.
Bitch.
And then stick around 10 p.m. tonight. We're live watching Psycho Gorman with Stephen Vlahos, the voice of Psycho Gorman.
Yeah.
It's going to be a fun time. Download that movie on iTunes or
Or buy
Amazon
it.
or
Your
stream it on
plebs.
Shudder, wherever you can find it. Get it, and we can play it together and love it together. Alenka, take us out.
On that note, like, when you're young, try to like suck off as many bloods as you can.
Buddy. Keep doing the song so we only say woo. Yay.